He was the cowboy king, the man who defined an era of Hollywood with a stare as sharp as his jaw. John Wayne, the Duke himself, loved by millions, feared by many, and respected by all. But what if we told you that behind the camera, away from the spotlight, he was hiding something? Something shocking. When the world mourned his death, no one expected the storm of revelations that would follow. His private estate? A vault of mysteries. His final days? A battle few knew the truth about. And the secrets uncovered? Let's just say, they'll forever change how you see the Hollywood legend. When the legendary cowboy John Wayne died in 1979, he left behind more than just a legacy of Western grit and cinematic glory. Behind the swaggering screen persona lay a complex man whose private life remained largely hidden from the public eye. But years later, when his estate was opened and examined, the discoveries inside shocked even those who thought they knew him best. What was uncovered in John Wayne's private belongings painted a portrait of a man far different from the rough and tumble cowboy audiences had grown to love. From heartfelt letters and forgotten relationships to controversial items and secret recordings, Wayne's estate was a vault of secrets. And as each detail came to light, a new and often uncomfortable truth about the Duke emerged. Let's step inside the closed doors of John Wayne's life and see what he never wanted the world to know. The legacy of a legend. John Wayne wasn't just a movie star, he was a symbol. For millions of Americans, he represented strength, courage, and unwavering patriotism. With over 170 films under his belt, Wayne became the embodiment of the American West. His drawl, his walk, and his towering presence defined an era. But behind that iconic image was a man tormented by contradictions. Wayne was a staunch conservative, a vocal anti-communist, and a symbol of American masculinity. Yet privately, he struggled with health issues, broken relationships, and inner demons that he kept hidden behind the camera. It wasn't until after his death that some of these shadows began to surface, and when his estate was unsealed, the floodgates opened. The estate is opened. When John Wayne died of stomach cancer at the age of 72, his family inherited more than $6 million in assets. But tucked away in the drawers, vaults, and storage boxes of his Newport Beach mansion were personal artifacts that had never seen the light of day. Some of the items were expected: scripts, photographs, handwritten notes, and memorabilia from his long career. But buried deeper were the things he had carefully hidden, things that challenged the myth he had spent decades building. Among the first shocking discoveries was a series of letters from people whose names the public had never heard, women, friends, and even enemies who had crossed paths with Wayne in ways that tabloids never reported. The love letters. One of the most intimate finds was a bundle of yellowed, fragile love letters. But these weren't to his wives or known partners. They were addressed to and from women not recognized in any official biography. These letters revealed romantic entanglements that spanned decades, some of which overlapped with his marriages. One particularly moving letter, dated 1958, was signed by a woman only identified as A. In it, she writes, "I wish the world could know the John I know." The one who cries at old war movies and writes poetry in the margins of scripts. This was not the image Wayne ever allowed the world to see. He had been married 3 times, and each marriage ended in heartbreak. The letters hint at a man searching for something he never quite found: real, lasting connection. The hidden audio tapes. Even more startling were a series of reel-to-reel tapes labeled only with dates and vague titles like Confession, Last Ride, and Mexico. When these were played, they revealed the voice of John Wayne himself, speaking candidly into a microphone, seemingly recording personal diaries. These recordings were never meant for public consumption. In one tape from 1977, just 2 years before his death, Wayne says, "I built a man on screen I could never live up to. I've let people down. My kids, my wives, hell, myself. I'm tired of being the Duke. I just want to be Marion again." Marion was his real name, Marion Morrison, a name he shed to become the larger-than-life figure fans adored. But in these tapes, we hear a man desperate to shed the cowboy armor and be human again. Controversial artifacts. Among the most controversial discoveries in the estate were documents and memorabilia linked to Wayne's politics. John Wayne was a vocal supporter of the House Un-American Activities Committee during the McCarthy era and served as president of the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals. His estate contained signed letters from government officials, including J. Edgar Hoover, praising his loyalty. But there were also private letters from fellow actors, some pleading with Wayne to reconsider his support of blacklisting. One heartbreaking letter from a blacklisted screenwriter reads, "You have the power to stop this, Duke. I beg you, as a friend. You know I'm no enemy." Wayne never responded to that letter. It remained in his drawer, unopened. The cancer drawer. Wayne had battled cancer twice, first lung cancer, which led to the removal of one lung, and later the stomach cancer that claimed his life. But what shocked his family was the existence of a drawer in his personal study, referred to in private notes as the cancer drawer. Inside were dozens of medical reports, X-rays, and personal diaries chronicling his fears about dying, not just about the pain, but about his image. In one scribbled note, he wrote, "I don't want them to see me weak. I'd rather die with my boots on." Also found in the drawer was a bottle of morphine, prescribed but never used. Next to it was a small, unopened letter to his children marked simply, "If I lose the fight." The contents of that letter have never been made public. A room full of regrets. In the far corner of Wayne's estate was a locked storage room. When it was finally opened, it revealed hundreds of items from his past, props, costumes, awards, and one wall completely covered in photographs of his children. Despite his macho image, Wayne was a sentimental man. He kept crayon drawings, old Father's Day cards, and letters from his kids begging him to come home during long shoots. He kept them all. But perhaps the most touching item was a letter Wayne wrote to himself in 1965, after a particularly bitter divorce. It read, "You can conquer the West, but not your own heart." Maybe that's the greatest fight of all. The FBI file. One of the strangest revelations came not from the estate itself, but from documents unsealed years later. The FBI had compiled a file on John Wayne, fearing that communist sympathizers might try to assassinate him due to his outspoken views. Wayne was reportedly informed of these threats, and even met with the FBI to discuss safety protocols. He downplayed the threats publicly, but in private correspondence found in his estate, he expressed genuine fear for his family's safety. One memo he kept from the Bureau stated, "Subject is considered a high-value cultural asset and a likely target." This revelation added yet another layer to Wayne's complicated life. He was a symbol of national pride, but also a man living in quiet fear. The final secret, perhaps the most gut-wrenching discovery, came not in a letter or tape, but in a dusty box labeled Arizona. Inside was a folded American flag, a stack of faded photographs, and a leather-bound journal. It belonged to a young Marine named Tom Morrison, John Wayne's older brother, who died young and was largely forgotten. The journal revealed that Tom was Wayne's childhood hero, and his death deeply impacted the actor. The entries spoke of war, disillusionment, and loss. Wayne kept this box hidden his entire life, perhaps unable to revisit the pain. In one of Wayne's own notes found alongside the journal, he wrote, "If Tom had lived, maybe he would have been the hero. I just played one." John Wayne's legacy was always remembered as that of a strong, decisive, and patriotic cowboy. But the secrets uncovered in his estate revealed that he wasn't just a real-life hero, he was a man, burdened with weakness, regret, and pain. These revelations didn't destroy his image, they deepened it. His true legacy is no longer just about the films he made, but the man he truly was, florid, vulnerable, and quietly fighting his own battles. And perhaps that is what makes him even more legendary. If this story moved you or made you see John Wayne in a new light, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss more powerful stories like this.